What's up, Austin? How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for you guys doing this. I appreciate it. It's funny. I reached out and I'm like, whenever you have time, and Paige is like, we have nothing but time right now.
Yeah. We're hanging. I mean, we're working hard and training, but yeah, we got a ton of time trying to get caught up on everything, and yeah.
Obviously, we don't have to travel anymore, which is kind of nice to have some real. I don't think I've ever been home this many months, or I mean, I guess a whole month straight. I don't think I ever have. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. How are you guys? Because one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you is because I've been following along with your adventures on Instagram, and it seems like you guys are trying to keep as much fun and have as much fun while still training and everything out there. Like, because this is kind of a weird time, like where you literally can't really go do anything.
No, we really can't go do anything, and for us, we really just we're just in it to have a good time, and I think obviously social media is one way to do that, and we're trying our best to communicate with fans and engage as much as possible because we do know everyone else is stuck at home just like us, and it's just a great time for us to really focus on other things like the business side of stuff, like your fans and your social media and stuff, and for us it's really just we're having a good time.
Yeah. It seems like you guys are staying in shape, though. I've seen the workouts. You guys have a pretty intense garage filled with a lot of workout stuff.
Yeah, we've been doing like 2 sessions a day, so we'll do a early morning, and that'll be either conditioning or bad work or weights, and then in the evening we'll do another workout as well. So we live in a really beautiful area, so we can get outside and go for long runs, and yeah, we're trying to stay as active and be as ready to fight when everything's lifted as we can.
Yeah, because we do know like eventually all this is gonna lift, and the UFC and Bellator aren't gonna care. All right, it's just they're going to need to have fights happen, and it doesn't matter where we've been training or what we've been doing. We need to be ready because I've just got my cast off about a month ago or a few weeks ago, and I know when the UFC calls, I want to fight as soon as possible, and I want to be able to say I am 100% ready. And, we're so lucky that we are married and both professional fighters and can train through all this.
Yeah. Now, are there grappling sessions going on? Are we actually sparring at this point? Because I was joking with Corey Sandhagen like 2 weeks ago. He's like, if this team keeps going, he's like, I'm going to have to turn my girlfriend into a fighter so I have a sparring partner.
Yep, actually, we're doing everything that we can. I'm still supposed to ease into sparring and like high impact stuff because of my arm, but like we did like super light timing sparring, which is really great. We can drill jiu-jitsu together. We were drilling some like arm bar escapes yesterday, and we're gonna do jiu-jitsu again today. So it's more just like because we're passionate about fighting too. It's way too hard to step away from it for this whole time. I think we would just go absolutely crazy if we did nothing but just social media.
Yeah. Austin, am I wrong in thinking, did I hear that we were going to have a fight in May? Is that right?
Yeah, I was scheduled to fight May 16th in London. So, and unfortunately, we never got the opportunity to announce it because literally within like 2 days of me signing the contract is when everything got like super bad. I think like 2 days later is when they canceled the NBA, and I know for a lot of like sports fans and all that was kind of like the pinnacle of like, oh shit, this is super serious. So I think I had signed my contract like the Sunday before that. So yeah, never got the opportunity to announce, but we were planning on going to London to fight. I don't think it officially got canceled until like March 16th or maybe a few days either before or after that. So, I was still planning on fighting up until they announced that the card was going to be canceled.
Yeah. Now, I know Bellator has postponed all their shows through May. Have they contacted you or stayed in contact with you in terms of, like, getting to fight? I assume you'd probably like to fight in June. Like, you had a fight scheduled, in May. I assume you'd like to fight sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I definitely would. So I'm, even for me fighting in May, that was like 5 months since my last fight. I think my last fight was in November. So I was kind of overdue for a fight as it was. So, you know, I mean, the thing is everyone's got to deal with the same thing. But yeah, to answer your question, we haven't heard a whole lot of dialogue, and I think to be fair, you know, it's tough because I don't think really anyone knows exactly what the time frame and all that is for fights and everything. So not a whole lot of dialogue, but I'm thankful that, you know, I'm good friends with Uncle Chael, and he's got me on Submission Underground here in a few weeks. So I'm going to get a little bit of my competitiveness out and get to go do a grappling match, which is really cool.
Very cool, very cool. Now, Paige, you mentioned, of course, you got your cast off, your arm is back again. I know we've talked about the arm and, you know, the frustration of dealing with that. So how is the arm now, and what are doctors telling you in terms of your readiness to fight again?
Honestly, my arm is almost, I mean, of course, I have an appointment actually in a week from today where I'm going to go in and get that final x-ray just to make sure it's 100% healed again. So the biggest problem is I need to get the plate out in my arm. I think it wasn't what's his name? Max? No, the other fighter who broke his ulna. Right, wasn't it Al-Kukui?
Oh, yeah, Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, Tony Ferguson broke his ulna too, and he had his plate taken out. So that's why he hasn't had any complications with it. So I have a plate that pretty much runs from my wrist to my elbow, and each one of those screw holes, so I have 7 screws in my arm. Each one of those screw holes is technically like a hole in your bone. So they're all weak points, and then at the front of your plate and at the end of the plate is a weak point too, because your bone flexes, and it bends, whereas the plate doesn't bend, so your arm bends around the plate. And each time I've rebroken it, I've broken through a screw hole. So I just need to get the plate taken out, and it's just another surgery I have to look forward to. Of course, I was able to have a successful fight against Rachel Ostovich with the plate in and not hurt myself, but then I come back from that fight, and a week later I broke my arm sparring. So it's just so unpredictable, and I'm pretty much on the same page with the surgeons now. It was hard for me at first to say, yeah, I'll have a surgery, let's fix the break, and then let's plan to have a second surgery. It was hard to agree to all of that when I knew how long it was going to take me out of fighting. But ultimately, it's the right thing to do. Yeah.
So what is the plan now? To go back in, have the plate removed, and then have they given you a timeline, like when you'll be able to fight again?
The goal now, things have definitely changed. Since my arm is healed now and it is ready to go, I will fight again. Fingers crossed I don't break it in the fight, but I will not spar looking forward to my next fight. So I know I've been doing this long enough. I've been fighting since I was in training since I was 15 years old. So 11 years. I know how to spar. I'm not going to forget how to fight. So just lots of drilling and, insane cardio and get as ready as possible without sparring. So I will not spar looking forward to the next fight, but the timeline is fight one more time. I'll be in contract negotiations at that point. I'll be a free agent, and I have theoretically that could take a long time to go through that negotiation process. So it's the perfect time to have one more arm surgery and heal it for good the right way.
Okay, so that makes sense. So I knew you were coming up on that contract. Get that out of the way while that's going on. You go through, get the plate out, and gives you time to recover. Then hopefully contract's done and you're ready to fight again.
Exactly, yeah. By the time the negotiation's over, I'll have a fight contract, or I'll have a new contract. I'll have a fight lined up. All of that will give me plenty of time to heal my arm correctly. I think no matter what, if I have this plate in my arm, it's going to be, a weak point. It feels fine. Like, everything feels normal. I can train 100%. Nothing feels bad until I go get, this last one, I threw a flying knee, and I just blocked it wrong. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't my fault. It was just like a freak accident. And it wasn't even like it was a hard knee, but it, broke through one of my screw holes. And as long as I have the screws in my arm, it'll be it'll be hard. But at least I do know I have the confidence if I break my arm in a fight again, I'm not going to quit. It's definitely not going to take me out of the fight. When I broke my arm in the fight against Rose, what's her name? Jessica Rose Clark. I knew I won the third round with a broken arm, so it doesn't matter to me if I break it in a fight. It's just I just really want to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I saw your message about, sign me up to fight on Dana White's weird private island. And, Austin, you got a submission grappling match, as you mentioned, coming up. So, kind of for both of you, like, are you comfortable, competing during this time while we're dealing with this whole coronavirus madness? I know the UFC is going to go on putting on shows. Bellator is not. But, like, how do you guys feel about that?
I think we're definitely both trying to do our part. And like I said, the advantage we have is we're both professional fighters. Paige has been doing this for a long time. She's got a lot of the experience. And so we really can train almost, I would say our training's at like 85 to 90% right now. I'd say like the 10 to 15% that we're missing is just that hard sparring or, for myself. But we're really able to do everything. And we're trying to do our part. We're trying to stay in, be quarantined, help stop the spread of all this. But I think we both feel comfortable, with competing. And that's just our nature and that's what we live to do. And it's tough to take anyone away from that. I think 99% of the fighters out there aren't afraid to go and compete, with this going on. But, you just got to change things up.
Yeah, and especially on that point as well, professional fighters don't get paid unless they compete. So I have had a broken arm for like 18 months now, or I haven't, my last fight was in, January of last year. I haven't even fought since then. Like, so I'm not bringing money in as far as fighting. And it's just so important, for fighters to make money, and we do that by competing. And I would love to be able, this last fight on my contract has just taken so long to see through to fruition. So I think it's just the love of competition and needing to wanting to make money that really is, a push.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we talked about the contract. It feels like we talked about it forever ago, and it's just because everything's been going on. You haven't been able to fight it out and actually get to your contract negotiation.
Yeah, it's been talked about for a very long time, since January, That was, I fought that fight in January. I had a great win. I was coming off of it, anticipating fighting right away. And of course, I went and broke my arm. So it's all just kind of been a ripple effect of pushing everything back in my career. And I would love to see things move forward. And for me, I've stayed athletic. I've stayed ready. I'm just so excited to fight. It's hard for me to really mentally keep pushing it back.
Yeah, and I know Dana has said they're going to be booking 4 cards in a row, and they're going to be looking for a lot of American fighters because, as we know, the international folks, at least for now, can't get into the States. Maybe that'll change in May. We don't know for sure. But can I assume, Paige, if you get the call, like you want to fight, pretty soon? I know you mentioned Fight Island, but in all seriousness, like, can I imagine you do want to fight soon?
Yeah, I mean, I already messaged my manager and was like, "Hey, I'm ready. Like, let's get me a fight." Dana, I honestly didn't anticipate fights happening until, it seemed like Dana kept running into new obstacles and new like hoops that he had to jump through. So I kind of anticipated fights not happening until at least June, maybe later. And now that the opportunity for fights to be sooner, I'm definitely gonna jump on the opportunity.
Yeah, are you gonna do strawweight or flyweight?
So it's open. I mean, I will say it's going to take me a little bit more time to cut to 115. Obviously, an extra 10 pounds isn't easy to lose. But I do feel like I've fought now at 115. I fought at 125. I feel like I like the matchups at 115 a little bit better. I feel like there's more exciting fights. There's, for myself in anyways, but I am completely open to both weight classes. So if the UFC was like, hey, we need you to fight on this card last minute, I could make 25 easily. If they give me an extra month, 115 is fine.
Gotcha. Now, in addition to everything you guys have been doing training, all the other things you've been doing on Instagram, I saw the new Mr. VanZant shirt you were rocking, Austin, and it's funny. It's funny. I think it was like 2 fights ago in Bellator. I don't know if you remember. We talked about the perception that because you guys are married, obviously Paige, you're a very famous person doing Dancing with the Stars and all the things. But it's so funny also how people have this misconception of how you handle having Paige as a wife. Like, you embrace it. You have fun with it. Like, it's almost like when people call you Mr. VanZant, you took offense to it. And I remember you telling me, you had fun with it. You don't take offense to that at all.
No, not at all. I think it's hard to say. It's hard to really truly offend me because I'm so confident in myself and my marriage and just in life in general. And things like that don't get to me. I know I've talked about before, but the things that truly, like, from the bottom of my heart matter to me the most is my wife, my family, and my friends. And anyone else can say what they want to say, but I've got a really good group of people that I'm surrounded by, and and they all help me out. And life is, it's all just like our Instagram posts. All this, we got to have fun and all that. And it's really cliche, but our lives are too short to really take it so seriously and take offense to everything.
Yeah. Who came up with the idea for the Mr. VanZant t-shirt?
That was kind of a collaborative idea. We were trying to think of his next fight shirt in some way. We wanted to have a shirt that integrated us together. And then, of course, we have, like, instigators in our life, like Chael, who are like, you got to go with it. And, Chael has been someone who's like, embrace that. Like, it's such a good sales point. And then we were like, okay, if this is something we're really going to, like, embrace and make fun of the people for hating on us, like, let's do something big. And we were like, awesome, like a fan shirt that says Mr. VanZant with a picture of me. I think it just rubs it in people's faces even more, like how successful, one, I am, but how successful he is too. And, it's hilarious. So we love the new fan shirts we put out.
Yeah, I love it. Now, Paige, I've known you longer than I've known Austin, but you know me. I'm probably the least controversial guy. I'm not Howard Stern. I'm not the one who's going to ask you personal questions like this. But I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about some of the Instagram posts you guys have made lately with a slight bit of slight touch of nudity. I've enjoyed it. I've had so much fun. It cracks me up. I've enjoyed it. But kind of two-part, like, where did this idea come from, and how has the reaction been? Because it's been fun to watch on social media.
Yeah, we are having so much fun. So how it came is Austin had taken a video of himself or a picture in the gym, and I had glanced over, and I was like, were you naked out there? And then he just was wearing really short shorts because he works out in, like, tiny shorts. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I have the best idea ever. And so we just kind of staged it where I was on the medicine ball, and we had, like, our double-edged bag covering his butt. And then it kind of just sparked from there because people liked him so much. But, for us, it's, it's not really a social media stunt. It's not to get attention. I just think, like, I want to spread the idea of, like, we've been married for, over a year and a half at least. And, just to love your husband and to have fun with, or love your significant other and have fun with them, and how important it is to, like, just, make the most of the relationships that you have. And we're really just having a really good time and trying to spread love. And we're married. So it's like, I'm not embarrassed. I'm not shy about, the way we live our life at all.
Yeah. What about you, Austin? I'm not gonna lie. Paige, you did Sports Illustrated. That's already kind of a risque photo shoot right there. Austin, I know typically when you fight, you're not wearing much, but still, it's still a different level for men sometimes. So how are you feeling about this whole thing?
Okay, so I have a couple things. So for one, I started wrestling when I was 5, so I've been used to wearing one of those singlets my entire life that there isn't a whole lot that it doesn't show. So that's one. Two, quick funny story. Before I left Alaska to move here to the States to go to school and all that, my mom gave me one word of advice before I left, and she said, Austin, the rest of the world isn't like Alaska. You can't just go outside and go pee wherever you want. You can't show yourself off. So be careful. Fast forward like a year later, and I actually got a ticket for it was called scattering rubbish. I had peed in a park or something. And, there might have been a few beers involved or whatever. But anyways, yeah. So I've just never been shy about that, and I have fun. And my wife sees me naked all day, every day, anyways. So I thought, you know what? The rest of the world deserves it too.
Now, Paige, I'm not trying to insult you by saying this. I know you are a very physically fit fighter, but I gotta be honest, Austin, were you nervous when you were doing the flipped upside down picture with her where she's holding on to you? Because I was like, man, Austin, you're a big guy. I'm just saying, you're a bigger guy.
Well, and he's even bigger now that we've been quarantined. He's gained a few pounds.
Yeah, I was. I was. You know what? Every time. So that one took us a few shots to get. So, and every time I did, I was like, babe, we got to get this soon because this is hard for me to hang on. I was more concerned that she was gonna hold me up. So I was like flexing really tight on her, making sure. And yeah, it was. That was tough for sure.
Yeah.
Now you guys live in Oregon, which is, I know, a little bit. Obviously, you guys, it looks like you have a little bit of wilderness out there. At what point during the quarantine do we get Naked and Afraid Vanderford edition? Like, is that coming? Is that the next thing on the line?
That's so funny. That is one of our absolute favorite
and
shows.
I literally DM'd them the other day and said, hey, my husband and I were professional fighters. We're used to cutting weight. I sent him my sales pitch on why we should be on Naked and Afraid.
I hope it happens.
I really hope so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I like I said, this quarantine thing, like I said, we're all kind of stuck inside. We're all kind of doing the same thing, but you guys legitimately look like you're having fun with it as much as you can. And I don't know I don't know the total reaction. I know social media can kind of be a toxic place, but it seems like you guys are legitimately having fun with it. And I've really enjoyed following along.
Well, thank you so much. And yeah, you know what? The way we think about all this is, we all have to try to make the best of what we're going with. And this is a really hard, scary, unsure time for the rest of the world. But we kind of want to make it for ourselves, at least, as long as everyone's healthy and safe. But we want to make this like a memorable time for ourselves too, because we're not going to get many opportunities in life to truly get to spend like this quality of time with each other. And, and
pretty much we're always, with the career we have, like, yeah, we're together all the time, but like we go to the gym 3 times a day, and typically, I have my training partners, he has his, so we could go the whole day without having a real conversation because we're, both busy training, and then when we're on the road, it's for business, and we're busy, and always on the go. This is like such amazing quality time, and we really are truly having a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Before I let you go, Austin, I don't want to break any news on you without getting you in trouble here. You mentioned Submission Underground. Are you able to say who you're grappling?
Yeah, I am. I'm grappling against Richie Martinez. I think the Boogeyman is like his moniker. That's what he's a 10th Planet guy for those who are not as familiar with him, and I think he's one of their top guys. So he's tough. He just recently beat Jake Shields in I think it was 2 Submission Undergrounds ago. So I got my work cut out for me, but I think I've got a good game plan. I also competed against Jake Shields, and that was a year ago, and I'm so early in my career that a year for myself is a long time to grow and a lot of opportunity for me to get better. So, I think I'm going to be a tough match for him. He's a high level black belt. I'm not quite to that level yet, but I think I've got the tools, and I think I've got the mindset to go out there and get a little upset.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I'm sure it's just good to get those competitive juices flowing.
Absolutely, yeah, and Richie's a great guy too. I'm really excited. He's actually the one who called me out after he beat Jake Shields, and I was like, man, that's so awesome. For me, because like I said, I'm young in the sport still, so to have guys like that, in his respected career, he's pretty well known. So to have a guy like that call me out, I was excited about it, and I'm pumped for April 26th.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Austin, Paige, thank you guys so much for taking the time. Keep up the good work on social media, please. You're definitely entertaining at least me. I can tell you that much for sure. And hopefully next time we talk, it's when both of you have a fight book, because I'm sure both of you are just itching to get that call.
We definitely are.
Yep, you're the man. We appreciate you. Always fun to interview and talk with you. You're a great guy.
Absolutely. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Paige. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys soon.